Hey guys, Senior Thesis Bart here. Sorry, I'm back for today at least. I know it's been a minute, and I know the videos are supposed to come out on Sunday. However, life is still kicking me in the butt. Please ignore the background, even though now I've just called attention to it. Life is still kicking me in the butt right now, so I will actually probably do one or two uploads today and the rest on Wednesday. The one upload today, well, which I'm going to do now, is my Once Upon a Time Season 5, Episode 4, The Broken Kingdom, or I think it's Broken Kingdom review, and then later today I'll do a either reaction or a review of the new Star Wars trailer that's dropping, so that'll be fun. Postponing the Star Wars Saturday speculation until after the trailer drops, and I'm going to do kind of a re-examination of the characters I've already done and then add in the characters I plan to do. But enough of that. We'll talk about that later tonight, and let's get into the episode. So this episode actually didn't feature a lot of things going forward, but it did explain a lot of things that happened in the past. It was mostly a backstory, a look at King Arthur and Guinevere's relationship, and you learn what Arthur was like as a kid, and you learn that his obsession is what drove him to kind of this brink of madness or villainy, and he is the worst. He's the worst. It's like you feel a little bit of pity for him, but really he's just kind of an overall jerk. And learn about why Lancelot left and what happened, which was interesting. I have some minor grievances with that, or major grievances I'll get into later. But other than that, not a lot happened there. You learn that it kind of goes back to the thought of Lancelot appearing last week, where David and Mary Margaret talk about it, and they get into a giant argument. And by the end, they actually end up coming up with a plan and figure out Arthur is really the villain of this. From Arthur's point of view, you learn that he had a dream where Merlin talked to him about repairing the broken kingdom, Camelot, to its former glory, and that drives him to obsession. And he discovers the sword. He discovers the Dark One's dagger, but over it becomes really suspicious of what's going on. Lancelot is trying to kind of be the emotional support for Guinevere since Arthur is so absent all the time and just focused, and that gets him into trouble when Guinevere kisses him, and he's like, I can't do this. I might love you, but we got the bro code. And so he leaves. Guinevere discovers where the Dark One dagger is, but because the Dark One doesn't want to give up his dagger, and it's Rumpelstiltskin at the time, he's like, I'll trade you this stand that makes everything appear perfect and whole again. And Guinevere gets it and then trades it for something else that apparently appeared in a previous episode, and goes back to Arthur. Arthur was super suspicious, and he's like, where have you been? I saw you with Lancelot. What's going on? And Guinevere explains everything about how he's so distant, how he has to choose between his quest and her. And he decides, well, I'm just going to take both. And so he takes the dust, uses it on her to make her fall back in love with him, or appear that she does. So if, more or less he brainwashes her, then uses it to spread over the kingdom to make everything appear perfect and whole and nice again. And so Arthur is the worst. He is manipulating, brainwashing, lying, deceiving, and obsessive. And it's going to come back to bite him in the butt eventually. But we learned that Merlin's been in a tree since Arthur was a boy. So that is a new development we have. And Regina. Oh, yeah. At the end, because they tricked Arthur, Mary Margaret, and David did. They tricked Arthur and captured him, but since Guinevere is back in love with Arthur, she brings her forces and they break Arthur out, and then they use the potion on David and Mary Margaret to make them join Arthur's side, which is probably what's going to lead to Emma's betrayal in the end. Regina, no, not Regina, sorry, I'm forgetting. Lancelot is thrown in prison, and he meets Merida, who also ended up in prison there, and they're going to have a little plan. Meanwhile, that's all in the flashback during the 6 weeks. In the present, Dark Swan Emma actually has Merida tied to her car and breaks her out, and he's like, and takes Merida's heart, and she's like, I want you to teach Rumpelstiltskin, who, remember, now has a clean slate because Emma is the Dark One, and the darkness is out of him. to be brave because she needs Rumpelstiltskin to be the ultimate hero. So it's kind of funny how she's going deeper and deeper into darkness while trying to push the other Dark One to be the best hero possible. So I'm interested to see how that develops. Other points I might have missed. Regina is slightly suspicious of David and Mary Margaret's switch, but not enough. There's something. Oh, that was it. So Emma finds out. I just love this one. Emma finds out about in the flashbacks about Henry and Violet while Hook was there, and Hook just like gets this gleeful smile on his face. It's like, oh yeah, Henry's got a girl, yeah. And so I found that super funny. He was super over enthusiastic. And Emma was just like, I'm the Dark One and his mother, and he's lying to me about a girl. And Hook is like, it's scarier that you're his mother than that you're the Dark One. So that was really, really funny. Um, Other than that, I'd give this episode a solid 8. The two main problems I had were one with the Lancelot character as a whole, because I've read a lot of the Holy Grail stories, a lot of the old lore of King Arthur, so I just automatically hate Lancelot with a passion. So I'm not going to like him in any circumstance. In this case, he was a decent bro. So he did the right thing. It's like, I gotta cool off, I gotta leave, I can't let my bro's girl get attached to me. So he did the right thing no matter how I feel. So he did the right thing there, but because of how he's portrayed in the myth, I just automatically hate him. So I hate him less now, so that's good. And the other thing is the timeline. They say that the timeline where Lancelot leads and Guinevere and Arthur uses the dust is 5 years ago. 5 years ago. But the problem is, 5 years ago, the show is just getting started in our timeline. So it would have to be roughly 35 years ago because Lancelot had already left by the time he helps out, what's his face? He marries Charming and Snow White. So I'm a little confused on the timeline. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. Y'all can help me out here. But that's really it. A solid 8. Season 5, Episode 4, Once Upon a Time. Tell me what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, do all of the above. And Senior Thesis, well, I'll see y'all tonight. And Senior Thesis Bart signing off.